I picked up this old English pocket watch on eBay recently. Overall, it's in pretty good shape, but it does need a little bit of work. I did a little bit of research, and as near as I can tell, this watch was made in 1860 by a fellow named George Hammond in Manchester, England. Now that date comes from the hallmarks in the silver case, so I could be off on that date. Now this watch uses what's called a fusee, and without getting too into the weeds on how it works, it basically balances out the strength of the mainspring as the watch runs down. Now this watch is wound with a key, and to wind the watch you turn the key counterclockwise. And that's opposite to what a modern watch is. So if someone gets their hands on one of these and isn't familiar with them, it's really easy to break some of the parts inside. And that's exactly what happened with this watch. And this right here is our culprit. This is the fusee. Let's get them apart and have a look inside. Here's the fusee all taken apart. You can see right here this ratchet wheel is missing a few teeth, and the rest of them are pretty beat up. This is the ratchet pawl that's supposed to act on it. Now you can't tell without a frame of reference, but these are worn down to almost nothing. The ratchet wheel sits in here, and these two pawls sit on the outside of it. You get one here and one over here. And this mechanism is what lets you wind the watch. This is where the clicking sound comes from. Well, these are the three parts we need to make. I guess we better get to it. We'll get started with the ratchet wheel. I'm going to use this super glue arbor for this. And that's exactly what it sounds like. We're going to take a piece of brass and we're going to glue it right on there. And that'll hold it plenty well enough we can do all the work we need to. And here's one of my favorite features of the Sherline machines. We can just take the whole entire chuck straight off the lathe and put it right on the milling machine. Let me tell you, this saves so much headache and time. And just like that, we're set up to cut the teeth. Now I lucked out and I had a dovetail cutter that's not exactly right, but it's close enough that it'll work. Now before we take it off the arbor here, I'm going to glue on the old wheel. And now we can use it as a guide to drill the holes in the new wheel. And a bit of gentle heat will release the glue and we can take the part right off. And a quick dip in acetone will remove any glue residue. And as a final touch, I'm going to use a little bit of oilstone powder to put a nice matte finish on it. And there it is finished. Let's go ahead and put it in its home. For the ratchet pawls, I'll start by turning the pivots on the end of a piece of tool steel. And other than that, this part is pretty much entirely filed to shape. This is where good quality files really make all the difference. Let's see how he fits so far. Yeah, it needs to rotate a little more than that. Let's make a little adjustment. Yeah, that looks better. Now we can shape the other side. I wish there was more to show on this, but it really is just pushing files around. And here the profile's finished. Now we just need to saw it off the bar and turn it down to size. This is where our friend the superglue arbor comes in handy again. Now all we gotta do is put it back in the lathe and turn it down to thickness. And here's the finished part. And of course we need two, so I went ahead and made another one. And here's a ballpoint pen for scale. With all the parts made, we can go ahead and reassemble everything. Here you can see how these pawls are supposed to sit in here. Those two springs keep them engaged in the ratchet wheel. And here's the watch all cased up, ready for 164 more years. Thanks for watching.